welcome, and our USA branch chairman, Ayhan Özmekik. First of all, maybe a little introduction, because listeners know about MÜSİAD, but MÜSİAD is Turkey's largest businessman association. We have 87 offices in Turkey and 200 contact points in the world, and working with more than 190 MOU partners. Of course, MÜSİAD is a very proactive and active organization, worldwide organizations, but our coming event, the most important event, will be on 18th to 21st of November. We have MÜSİAD Expo. Every 2 years, we receive 50,000 international visitors from more than 100 countries. And during this big organization, of course, we have B2Bs, we have big organizations, side events, and it will be the first big organization, economic organization till pandemic, because everything was postponed. And now we will have this first very important business organizations named MÜSİAD Expo, and also maybe we will talk about this. We are going through a very important and historic period, that is pandemic. For the first time, billions of citizens of many countries have freedom restrictions. They can't go out of their homes, and many people can't travel. And of course, all this situation is very harmful for business and international trade. We as MÜSİAD, during all this period, have set a crisis center with our president, Mr. Khan, and we had to manage many issues about our international offices, repatriation of our businessmen, and many logistic issues that also we are going to speak about. First of all, Mrs. Consul General, you know that business community is very important for development of economic relations and good relations between countries, and especially in our case between Turkey and the United States. We see that our figures really went high. We got from 9 billion average to double in last year. So that means we have a very important common trade. About LPG, about many issues, we are now very, very big buyers. And also on the US side, we can see that we have really very high levels. But Mr. President Erdogan and President Trump just set us to business community to get these figures till $100 billion. So as a person who knows very well Turkey, that because you were formerly in Adana, as far as I know, how do you see this business activity, last year's developments, and business community and as MÜSİAD, our members, I think, would want to know how you see this last developments about economy and business.
So first of all, thank you very much, Zeki Bey. I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you and with the members of MÜSİAD about our business and trade relationship. So as you noted, it's an extremely important relationship, and the United States is committed to our longstanding and successful commercial ties with Turkey, something that countless US and Turkish partners have enjoyed for decades. We have strong economic, social, and cultural bonds that have been secured through the efforts of private enterprises in both the United States and Turkey. And our business ties are instrumental to our continued engagement with the Turkish government. As you noted, our bilateral trade has grown significantly over the last 2 decades. Bilateral trade in goods during 2019 was over $20 billion. And despite the significant impact that COVID has had on the global economy, our total trade in 2020 is on pace to exceed that. We have seen firsthand how Turkey's private sector quickly mobilized to produce personal protective equipment to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Turkey exported more than $125 million in non-surgical gowns to the United States. And considering that this was really a new thing for Turkey to export, Turkey had never exported in this particular category before. This is really a development and an achievement that should be celebrated. The United States is Turkey's fourth largest trading partner, and we have a very balanced trade relationship. It's about $10 billion in each direction. Turkey exported about $10.6 billion to the United States in 2019 and imported around $10 billion. So the United States is ready to take action on additional initiatives discussed during Secretary Ross's visit last year. He was here in September 2019. He spent an unprecedented 5 days here meeting with the Turkish business community in addition to Turkish government officials to talk about how to make that $100 billion in trade annually a reality. And we're ready to take action on additional initiatives discussed during that visit. And at the same time, we hope to see concrete action from Turkey to address the remaining commitments in our $100 billion trade initiative. There are several areas where we still hope to see additional action. But overall, we have an incredibly strong trade relationship, and now our focus needs to be on how we can grow it.
Thank you, Ms. Consul. You talked about Mr. Ross, Undersecretary Mr. Ross visit last year. During this visit, there were some points on the table, very important because it was 72 hours meeting, I remember, and very important meetings with all sector representatives. There were some points about the GSP and GSP or quota, which situation will be about Turkish products. What is the situation now about this GSP question in US-Turkey relations? Did we get any progress about this?
So one of the things that we discussed during that, they discussed a number of different things for both sides to do. And I don't have anything specific to talk about regarding GSP or quotas. There were some very specific things that we explained that US firms eye the Turkish market with interest, are interested in doing more business with Turkey. There are a few things that make it uncertain for Turkish companies. So some of the areas that we are focused on would include taxes, regulation in certain sectors, including healthcare, the digital economy, restrictions on US exports of building equipment to Turkey, issues related to localization for the production of pharmaceuticals and medical devices, progress on the WTO government procurement agreement, and an import ban on refurbished parts, in addition to some other things. So there are certainly a number of things that I think both sides are focused on how we can lift some of these restrictions so that we can increase trade.
Yes. I think also about textile, there were some big subject about textile tariffs and how to manage this subject. About investment, our members sometimes, of course, are willing to invest in the United States. Maybe there is a lack of knowledge or lack of information about this. What would you say to our members about investing in the US? What would be your advices, and are there any system, governmental system to help them, to advise them? What would you say to a MÜSİAD member who is willing to invest in the US?
So I think that this might be a good question to turn over to my colleague, Catherine Spillman, who is with us from the Foreign Commercial Service, who can talk a little bit more about some of our programs, which are specifically aimed at helping Turkish companies and other companies and investors invest in the United States.
Yeah, thank you. I'd be very happy to do that. My name is Catherine Spillman, and I am with the Foreign Commercial Service. We are the export promotion arm of the US government for non-agricultural products. And we also work to promote investment and support investment into the United States. To that end, we work with Turkish companies to help them identify American partners who supply high quality products that they can use to meet their customer needs. But we also work with companies that are ready to expand into the United States through our Select USA program. Now, you may be aware that in the United States, each state and many municipalities run their own investment attraction programs. It can be confusing for foreign firms to identify the different programs in each state, to identify the points of contact, and to get overall information about the investment climate for particular industry sectors, and also information in general about regulations that may impact them on the national level. So for this purpose, the Department of Commerce created the Select USA program a little more than 10 years ago. What we do is help Turkish investors identify the economic development organizations that they want to work with. We run a variety of roadshows and programs, often along either geographical or industry sector lines to help connect the two sides. Our signature event is the Select USA Investment Summit, which is an annual summit with over 1,000 investors coming to the United States to meet directly with the EDOs. We do that recruiting through the commercial service and with the support of the embassy and the ambassador. And we will be having that event in June next year. It's always held in Washington, DC. My staff in Istanbul, but all our staff across the country are very happy to meet with any MÜSİAD member who's interested in learning more about investment in the United States. We can point you to information that's important to your business. We can help arrange introductions to economic development organizations, and we'd be very happy if there's a group of companies to do a seminar introducing the program more broadly. We do have a website, which I'd like to tell you about briefly. It's www.selectusa.gov. And if any of your members go there, they can find a host of information that includes state information, sector information, and regulatory information. So we'd be very, very happy to discuss anything with your members who may be interested in supporting their efforts to invest in the United States. You may not know that last year, Turkey was the 9th fastest growing investor in the United States in the entire world. So there's a lot of interest here, there's a lot of activity, and we're very happy to support your members in this.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mrs. Catherine Spielman. It is, in fact, something we also wanted to talk about. I think it will be very interesting that Mrs. Consul General or yourself or both visit our branches because, you know, we are not an Istanbul-centered organization. We have 87 offices in Turkey, and each office, and you know that we were to organize the American Diplomacy and Gourmet Summit in Gaziantep past May, but due to pandemic, we had to postpone it. Many ambassadors are asking about the gourmet side because it was one of the best organized aspects, but we will do it. Our aim by organizing it in Gaziantep was just to show that MÜSİAD is locally in each Turkish city gathering a lot of exporters, importers, and investors. And it will be interesting to have these programs in our branches. And I think after this meeting, we will be able to organize them in order to have this information. And thank you very much for this information and project that I think we will be able to plan and to realize together. About the subject we spoke, the investment and trade in the United States, one other aspect that is very important is to for our members, because you know there are not travel restrictions due to pandemic. How can our members find partners in United States, business partners, without traveling? Or after that, of course, they will be maybe able to travel, but how can they find partners, representatives inside United States through your help? What could you say about this?
So one thing that's important to understand about how we're organized is that we have local staff members who are Turkish, who speak Turkish and English fluently, who are aligned among...
We speak Turkish also fluently.
I beg your pardon?
We speak Turkish also fluently.
Yes, yes, yes. I unfortunately do not, which is why I rely heavily on our staff. But they are organized along industry sector lines. So the work that we do primarily falls along industry sectors. And what that means is they have a wide and deep understanding of their sectors. They are networked into chambers and trade associations here, and they are networked through our local offices in the United States into a vast array of companies operating in each of these sectors that are looking to expand internationally. So COVID's been a challenge for everybody, but the silver lining of COVID is that it's enabled us to advance our technology perhaps a little bit faster, our use of technology a little bit faster than we would have otherwise. And a lot of our events are now virtual. So one of our key services that we provide to the US exporter is called a gold key service. And it's when a company wants to come to Turkey and they ask us to help them find partners. And at that point, the industry sector specialist would go out to their contacts and through the chambers and through the associations to try to identify Turkish companies that might be interested in that product or service. So the first thing I would say is it would be great if your members would contact our offices to identify who the sector specialist is that can work with them, and introduce what your interest is so that when we get these inquiries, we can do something to connect you. Secondly, in non-COVID times, we lead trade delegations to many of the major shows that are supported by the US Department of Commerce in the United States. A few are international like Medica, but for the most part, they're in the United States. In the process, in COVID times, we are now doing a lot of that virtually. And when we support a show, we don't support all shows. There are specific shows we support, high value shows. And when we support them, we also do business matchmaking as a part of that. So if your members are part of our delegation, whether it be real or virtual, we will introduce you to US companies at these shows in which you have an interest.
Excellent. About this finding partnership, of course, one important point is also, as I said in my introduction, we have 190 MOU partners in the world. And as far as I know, and I have checked before this meeting, we don't have major MOU partners in USA. And I think, Mrs. Consul General, about this, your guidance and advice is very important. But I think as MÜSİAD, if we have this MOU partners, strong MOU partners in USA, I think this question about finding partners and having this relationship with American business community will be easier. What would you tell about this MOU partners in US? What would be your advice about this?
I think maybe the best thing for us to have a separate conversation on that. And let's talk about how the MOU would work, what you think the benefit is, what sort of partners you would be interested in looking for in the United States, and see if it's something that would make sense for us to add to our relationship, or if at this point, would it just be duplicating things that are already going on? We don't want to set up duplicate structures, but why don't we have a conversation about that and see if it's something that might be useful? Yes. I do want to go back to your comment about MUSIAD chapters throughout Turkey. And I was fortunate enough last December to visit the MUSIAD chapter in Çanakkale. So yes, if any of your members from Çanakkale are on the call today, I just want to wish them well and hope that I will be able to get back and make another visit to Çanakkale sometime soon.
Yes, and we thank you very much for this meeting in our Çanakkale branch. And staff and management of Çanakkale branch were very happy to receive you and were very pleased of the meeting you organized there. And as I told, we will be pleased to receive you in all our branches, because each time you have this direct contact, this is very good for business, for knowledge, and if you don't know people, of course, you can't work with them and have this this relationship that will lead to real partnership. And one of the matters I think that is very important also to develop this common knowledge is international education. As far as we know, you have a very good working system that is work and travel system. And I think as MÜSİAD, we think that real trade ambassadors of the future are people who study or work in each other's country when they are young. And after that, you have all your life time, you are linked to the country where you have studied, and we have all our own experience about this. What can you say about this program, and how can we adapt this program to our business community? Because we see that figures, of course, we have a lot of young Turkish citizens who are studying in the US. But how can we develop it on the business side? That means integrating them to business, US business, and on the other hand, integrating young US citizens in our business organizations. What do you think about this point?
So we are incredibly proud of our summer work travel program, and Turkey is one of the leaders in the world in the number of students that it sends to the United States. And it's unfortunate that it was one of the victims of the COVID pandemic that we weren't able to support that program this summer. But in 2019, it was certainly incredibly successful, and we were really looking forward to having another big year of summer work travel. I agree with you 100%. It is so important, I think, for young people in particular to have a chance to study in another country, to do an internship there, to go on a program like summer work travel. And it's something that we really support, again, recognizing that during COVID, things have had to be a little bit different. So a couple of different resources that I would point people to. On our website, there is a lot of information about study in the United States. And we do have Education USA offices in a lot of different countries, including in Turkey, which have information about studying in the United States, how to look for things like scholarships, what sorts of schools would be most suited to whatever you plan to study in the United States. So I would encourage you to take a look at our website and those links to Education USA. We're also very proud of the Fulbright program that we have between Turkey and the United States, celebrating its 70th anniversary, a really wide-ranging program which has sent, I will say hundreds, but it could be thousands of Turks to the United States and Americans who have come here to Turkey and really built those lifelong ties in the service of both of our countries. And again, if you want to take a look at the Fulbright website, you can find a lot of different information on our programs. I think there's a bit of a belief about Fulbright that it's only for programs maybe at the graduate level or the PhD level. But we have a lot of different programs that fall under Fulbright here, including some really innovative ways of having people go to community college in the United States, which is a very different aspect of our education system. So we would love to keep that program going strong and see it continue to be as strong as it has been over the next 70 years. There are other opportunities for students to get practical work experience in the United States through some of our exchange programs called our J programs. And again, there's different information on our website about things like how to go and do a short-term work experience in the United States. And of course, for students who are studying in the United States, if you study and graduate from a college or university, there's also an opportunity to do some additional work after you graduate. So we do have a lot of different programs. And again, I know COVID has made all of this a little bit more difficult, but we want to continue to ask people to focus on the possibility of studying in the United States. We think it's a really, really great experience for everyone to have.
Thank you very much. Ms. Consul, you talked about, of course, the difficulties of these young people, but globally, during this pandemic now, what is the travel restriction between Turkey and US? Are there any restriction now about visas, etc., for this pandemic period? What's the situation right now?
There is no restriction on travel between Turkey and the United States. You may travel from Turkey directly to the United States. There is no restriction on travel. Worldwide, we do have some restrictions on our visa services. These are worldwide restrictions because we are trying to limit the number of people who come into our consular sections, recognizing that we need to maintain physical distance, and that the best way to do that in some cases has been to reduce services. However, we do intend, as soon as we can, to get our visa services active again. We want to continue to help people travel to the United States, particularly on the subject of business visas. We do have both visas that are specifically for people going for business meetings in the United States. And then there are also the possibilities of visas for trade and investments. Those are they're called e-visas. Again, all the information about the correct visa category would be on our website. If someone needs to renew a visa, that's an entirely different process. So if someone has a business visa, a B visa, which is used for tourism and business travel, that has expired during the last 12 months, there is a way to renew your visa without coming in person to the consular section, and information about that you can find during your online visa application process. I will say also that in addition to the information about visas on our website, we have done for a number of organizations here in Turkey, different chambers or business organizations, seminars about visas, specifically business visas and trade and investment visas. So if that would be something of interest to the MUSIAD membership, we would be happy to set up that sort of information session so that as soon as we are able to process visas in a more normal fashion once again, your membership will be ready to go and apply for their visa to be able to do business with the United States.
Excellent. So very happy to know that there is no restriction because it is very important for our coming MÜSİAD Expo. So businessmen from the US will be able to participate to our very important event.
Correct. Business professionals will. That is correct.
Yes. Thank you very much. So now I want to listen our MÜSİAD USA branch chairman Ayhan Özmekik because you know, MÜSİAD, as I told in the introduction, is a global organization with more than 200 contact points in the world. And of course, our USA branch is very important to us. So Ayhan Özmekik, our chairman, can you present first, of course, as a Turkish American yourself, and MÜSİAD USA activities and membership? How is going MÜSİAD USA?
Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to thanks to Consulate General Ms. Daria Darnell and Catherine Spillman being with us. As a Turkish American, I'm very happy to see you together and make this program together. MÜSİAD USA established 2013, so we are so young NGOs at USA now. We have 80 members and 24 representatives. So I know we aim to make 50 states and 50 representatives soon. Hope after Corona we will do this aim also. And we are located, which Turkish people are crowded, like 7 mostly cities. We have branches also there. We have 80 members and we have more than 1 billion revenues in a year. So I want to share also my observation. I'm from New Jersey, but I've been here 2 months after Corona, being Corona. I also went to 40 branches in Turkey, 40. So, they are really willing to do business, export, import, or doing business in USA. They really willing to do something, but as I see, they scared. They don't have any idea about USA. So as Miss Catherine said, we can arrange more, Zoom meetings, or after Corona, we can be together with them. I've been in İnegöl, which furniture is very, highly manufactured city. So, I was so excited about Mobilium, the mall. So I told them, you have to establish this in USA around to New Jersey. And the second step, you have to manufacture this furniture in USA. So they were also very excited about that. So I told them, we have to arrange a meeting with the US consulate or ambassador all together, so we can see the opportunities as a target business furniture. But I saw a lot of members also wants to do, food and beverage industries. Some, as you know, Turkish people are, very popular restaurant and hotel business. So after Corona, I told them we have a lot of opportunities in the USA. So maybe we can manage them about this kind of businesses too.
The question was about USA MÜSİAD. So after we will speak about Turkey, and as I told, our members are willing to have this business in the USA. But can you present our members' profile in the US? Which sectors are they working in? After that, we will have the question about which sectors you think our members are willing to develop in the US. But for our members in the US, there are sectors, and in which sectors they are working, for our listeners just to have knowledge about our MÜSİAD USA branch.
Okay. As you know, Turkish people are the first generation in the USA. So we are usually doing, marble, granite things, and construction materials, constructions, food and beverage businesses. Amazon lately, Amazon businesses is, too much. So restaurant, cafe businesses, gas stations, which we do a lot, which we have a lot of members, this kind of things.
And what about, do you have a success story of your members in the US? Because it's important to have role models when we say to our businessmen, invest in the US. I think there is Hamdi Ulukaya or some Varol Ablak, some members who have developed real business in the US. What can you say about them?
Yeah, Mr. Varol is also MÜSİAD US member. He lives in Pittsburgh and he has a really successful business story. So they immigrant with the father and he born there. So he has more than 100 pizza store right now, and he's still giving franchise. So he's very successful businessman. And also Hamdi Ulukaya is really, I always mention about him because he's a good role model for us, for the actually all immigrants, not only Turkish people. He went like without nothing, and he knows what he wants to do. So these kind of people are really role models because they went with the zero money and they establish being.
So they have the American dream.
Yeah, like, I told them Chobani make like more than 4 billion turnovers in a year. So which is great. So in Turkey, actually, he's the biggest businessman almost. So these are very successful stories. So in US, give a lot of opportunities to businessmen, students, for everyone. They always welcoming to USA. As in me, I went as a student, and after that, after studying, I established a cafe restaurant business, and I became a businessman, which I told about my story too. So I always motivate my friends, my Turkish friends, you can start with the zero and you can establish really good businesses here. There are a lot of opportunities and there are not so much risk in USA. not like Turkey as an American. I want to say that. So, you know, I always invite the Turkish businessmen, the USA. Turkish businessmen usually choose the hard markets like, you know, African, Middle East, kind of this. But USA is at the beginning very hard to start, but then it's very easy to make a business. So, you know, that's why Turkish people, as an immigrant, they are very successful businessmen in USA. They are hardworking and they really becoming good businessmen in USA.
Thank you. So another point that is very important, Mrs. Consul General, even if this year it is a sector that we have some difficulty to speak about, is tourism. Between USA and Turkey, tourism, in fact, is a very important sector to be developed. And in Turkey, of course, yourself, you know very well Turkey and all the country, there are a lot of opportunities. And on the other hand, the USA, very huge country with many touristic possibilities. How do you see this sector in coming months? Of course, we know about pandemic and these difficulties, but we hope that we are going to cope with this disease and have a normal life like before. What do you think about tourism and our businessmen? Have they to invest in tourism between the two countries? What are the opportunities you think about?
Clearly, tourism has been one of the sectors that has been maybe the sector most affected by the COVID pandemic. And we know that a lot of companies and business people have certainly struggled because of the lack of tourism, both in the United States and in Turkey. I do think that overall, looking past the pandemic, tourism is a bright spot for both of our countries, really. And in many ways, I think Turkey and the United States have some similarities. We have very varied countries, we have big countries, we have lovely historical sites, we have coastlines, we have mountains, we have summer sports and winter sports. So really, I think that tourism is a sector that offers a lot of opportunities going forward. As you noted, we do have to get past the COVID pandemic, but I think that it's a sector that is certainly very important to both of our countries. In the United States, we are delighted to welcome tourists from Turkey, and I hope that American citizens will also have a chance to once again experience the really wonderful side of a visit to Turkey in the future.
Yes, and about this sector, investment in tourism in the US, because tourism is very huge, in fact, because you have transport, logistics, and also hotels, etc. And we know that our members are willing to invest in this sector, buying hotels, buying tourism installations. About this, can you tell us more about opportunities for member, for instance, who are willing to buy a hotel in the US? What's the situation now on this specific sector?
Let me ask Catherine if she maybe has a little bit more detail about investing in the United States in the tourism sector.
So again, I think going to the Select USA Summit is a really good opportunity for people to find out details about what there is, because a huge part of that summit is networking. So in addition to B2B, B2G meetings between the local governments and business people from around the world, business people also talk to each other. Real estate deals on that scale, major hotels, tend to be industry known or initiated deals, not so much influenced by the government. So I think the key in that area is to identify the right groups to memberships to take, or people to meet to find out more about what's happening. Once the deal is made, then it's pretty straightforward, I think, to purchase. As far as I'm aware, there are no restrictions on buying hotels in the United States or other sites like that. So it's just a matter of identifying the opportunities. On the tourism front, writ large, one comment I'll make is that just generally a trend that we see There's an increased interest among travelers for special interest travel. And so I think that where tourism operators can identify unique products and kind of brand them as special interest travel, even within the parameters of existing resources, there are opportunities to expand the tourism industry.
So I say that because we have some specific demands. I think we have questions arriving at the same time from our members, and we have some demands coming about buying hotels and tourism installations. But the most we got in the agro sector, the agro-food sector, that I think is very interested in the US. And Turkish governments just announced this week that they wanted to open logistics centers and also in the US. And also USA was one of the first countries where Turkish trade centers opened also. And I think about these logistics centers, as MÜSİAD, we will have some actions in coming weeks and months. And we had some meetings with our USA branch and also with our board of directors about this subject. What would you suggest the person knowing very well the American market about this logistics centers by the American side? What do you think Turkish side shall take care of or which conditions they may fulfill?
So typically logistics centers work best when they're closer to the customer. So I think it will depend, each individual member who's looking to expand their business through a logistics center would need to identify the parts of the country they want to operate in as a first step. That's where we can assist. Once they've identified where their business needs to be, we can introduce you directly to the economic development organizations in that region. And they're the source of knowledge for all the particular regulations, introductions to attorneys, introductions to real estate professionals, introductions to tax professionals, all the people that can help your members understand what's specifically involved in setting up a logistics center in a particular part of the United States.
Excellent. I think this about this very subject, we had this meeting with our USA branch. I have a few words maybe about this announcement of Turkish government's logistic centers and your strategy about this.
Yeah, when I was in USA with the members and with the Turkish people, I saw a lot of unsuccessful business ideas too, because usually Turkish businesses in Turkey is small businesses, and the in USA, even storage and marketing fees and a lot of fees are very high. So the small businesses can't afford this. So I have an idea, and I share with Mr. Zeki and MÜSİAD. I told them we have to be together, and we have to be like cooperation system. Like we have to come together like 20, 30 manufacturer together, and we have to establish a like kind of systems in USA. Then we can be big. Like even in Turkey, all stores are small too. USA, like amounts are too big, like 1,000, 10,000 stores. So we have to answer their questions. So hopefully this food, we want to start with food and furniture. In my idea, like food is going to be very successful because as you see the corona time, people needs were food. So we are the really good we have a lot of good food distributors in Turkey, but they think that America is far, and they at the beginning they didn't want to be business with the USA, but when they see the market is too big in USA, they want to do something. So hopefully we have a program, and we wanna organize some meeting with you too later. We wanna, you know, share our the observation about this too. This, if we're gonna be success, like, because Turkish trade centers are good, they have an idea about B2B meetings, but my idea is about the cash and carry stores, like, you know, Jetro Restaurant Depot in USA. So hopefully we want to do this, and hopefully we will start as soon as possible.
Thank you. Another important sector, you know, in Turkey last weeks, we have this issue about gas in the Black Sea. But globally, Turkey in sector of energy, and we have a lot of members who are working in this area, either renewable or normal energy, gas and petrol. In this sector, we have a lot of companies who are willing to collaborate with US companies. About this sector, what can you say to our members who are willing to collaborate inside Turkey or in the US, because US is world's prominent energy country?
Would you like me to?
Catherine, yeah, go ahead.
So actually, we just yesterday had an LNG forum designed to introduce Turkish companies to American suppliers of natural gas. The energy industry is huge in the United States. We not only have natural gas suppliers, but we have very well practiced and well experienced engineers, firms that work with gas transportation, gas terminals. So we are very well equipped. So again, if you have members, if any of your MUSIAD members listening today have an interest in working with natural gas suppliers or suppliers of gas related or energy related services, whether it's renewable or traditional gas, please contact us. We have a specialist who is in Ankara, but covers the whole country. And we'd be very happy to talk to your members about how to reach the US side for any business deals they'd like to do.
And of course, there is energy, but globally, we know that USA is one of the biggest investors in Turkey, of course, in energy, but also in services, finance, and industry. What can you say about US investment in Turkey, investment that already are working, and maybe projects that are on the air about future investment in Turkey?
There's a significant amount of US investment in Turkey. There's many of America's most iconic brands are producing their products here in Turkey. Just some figures that we have, there are more than 1,700 US firms doing business in Turkey. There's about 60 that have their regional headquarters here in Istanbul. And American companies and their affiliates employ almost 80,000 Turkish workers and have assets in Turkey totaling over $31 billion. US foreign direct investment into Turkey increased by 62% in 2018 to 778 million, which is the highest level in 6 years. We know that there are incredibly talented firms that are working here. The recent acquisition of Peak Games by Zynga, which was Turkey's first unicorn, really shows the high regard in which US and Turkish companies hold one another and the ability for these firms to really flourish in the US ecosystem. So I think that for US firms, they see a lot of real positives in investing in Turkey. There are favorable demographics, prime geographic position, access to multiple regional markets. Turkey is really an island of relative stability and growth in a turbulent region. Very educated, talented workforce, as I said, with really well-developed infrastructure. So there's a lot of real positives to investing here. Although, as I noted earlier, there are some things which cause hesitation, including issues related to taxes, regulations in certain sectors around manufacturing, localization in particular. Also, obviously, it's important for any country in order to attract foreign investment that it show great adherence to the rule of law and fundamental freedoms, lack of corruption, and transparency in business transactions are all very important. So we would like to see investment continue here in Turkey. We think that the ecosystem is certainly strong to be able to do that. And we look forward to working with groups like MÜSİAD, as we do with other groups like the American Business Forum in Turkey, the Turkish American Business Council, on our bilateral investment and trade relationship. The Presidency of the Republic of Turkey Investment Office has also been extremely helpful, has a really good website with a lot of very clear information for foreign companies about what exactly they need to do to invest here in Turkey, which is really important. That's what companies are looking for, those very clear steps to make it as easy as possible for a company to start up operations here in Turkey.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Consul. As MÜSİAD, we work also about this aspect, of course, in collaboration with Turkish government, and we have created last year MÜSİAD Invest, because we have seen that many international partners are willing to find local businessmen in Turkey, and generally all organizations are Istanbul or Ankara based, and we are the only organization who are present in the whole territory, like your visit to Çanakkale or all the cities. And sometimes they ask us about finding reliable local partners. And about this, we have created this MÜSİAD Invest, who is both advising and fighting the real partners. And of course, we'll be happy to have US companies also with us in this MÜSİAD Invest process. And we will, of course, send you all the information about this organization. That is, of course, on our MÜSİAD.org.tr site, business internet site, and they will find all the information on our website. Investment in Turkey of US is very, very important, and we think that if we can develop it in both sides with mergers, local partnership, it will be very fruitful, because in fact two countries are very near. I think our relationship goes far beyond 1830. Our first diplomatic relations are very, very old, and we work on the same systems globally. And also about, you spoke about the people, the young people, educated people who are very important for business. We know and see that also they are generally having fluent English, and also willing to work with US companies. But about business community, of course, you spoke about many organizations that are partners with you. And as MÜSİAD, I think we can develop this partnership through our also international network, because MÜSİAD is present in 4 continents, like, as I told you, 90 countries. And it's very important that US companies also can be partner of Turkish companies in Africa, in Middle East, in South America, and also in Turkish republics. And this partnership can go through MÜSİAD, because we are present on all these countries with our own branches, and it will be fruitful for both of us. I think we have last 5 minutes. I think the chair is to Mrs. Consul General for a few words, and then to Catherine Spillman and Ayhan Özmekik for a few words, and then we will leave the stage. Please, Mrs. Consul General.
Thank you again. Thank you for all the information you've provided about MÜSİAD. We're very interested to learn about MÜSİAD Invest. It's very helpful for companies to have a place that they can go to get their questions answered. So that's really good for us to know, and we'll be sure to continue our conversation about your initiative there. So as we noted, we do have the $100 billion in trade, a goal which Presidents Erdogan and Trump have set for us. And President Trump has pledged to President Erdogan that we will remain important partners, and that trade and investment are central to our relationship. For the benefit of American companies and workers, Turkey's economy, and we believe in free and open markets, as well as a strong rule of law that ensures to enable entrepreneurs and let their ideas and businesses flourish, there must be a level playing field, transparency, and protection for intellectual property. The continued success of our commercial ties also depends on a consistent regulatory framework, predictable judiciary, and human rights. And studies have shown that when these conditions are in place, business can innovate and thrive. And we are confident that even more companies can benefit from the wealth of knowledge and talent that I've had the pleasure of witnessing since arriving here in Turkey last summer. We will continue to work with Turkey to eliminate barriers to the effective operation of both US and Turkish companies. And our commitment to achieving $100 billion in annual trade with Turkey remains strong. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Consul General. Catherine Spillman, a few words maybe.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to all the MUSIAD members today. It's really great to see this interest in trade. Like all of us, I believe trade is incredibly important as a tool to bring nations together and to enhance prosperity on all sides. Our offices in Turkey, which are in Ankara, Izmir, and Istanbul, are ready to assist your members that would like to import from the United States, or who would like to invest. So I really would encourage you to contact us to get in touch with the person who covers your sector so that we can get to know you and figure out how we can link you up with the right American businesses and with the right economic development organizations for those of you who seek to invest.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Spillman. Ayhan Özmekik.
Thanks again for being with us. I'm so happy today. So we want to be, as in MÜSİAD USA, we want to be partner of this collaboration. Whenever you need us, we will be in the USA, so we can be together. And also with the MÜSİAD members, I, as a personal, always there, help for them. So my phone is always on. So hopefully they will call us and we will be better partnership. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be with all of you today, and long live Turkey-US relationship, and expecting you on MÜSİAD Expo from 18th to 21st of November, and have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.